Hey, hello guys. Welcome back to GM Toots. And today we are going to talk about React routers. Just to give a brief about what really the routers for SPA applications are, we're just going to see something called as React router. So we are going to use in our React application till now what we have created for GM Tools. We are going to just introduce some concepts of routing over here. So if you can see over here, like there might be in the legacy application there might be various tabs like home tab, about tab, or topics tab, or something like that. So in the legacy web application development till the time SPA was not even under consideration before that, each of these tab was always guided by servers. Like that means a page would hard refresh after this and the page would be thrown out from the server to the browser, and it was a bit of a tacky thing to handle. The reason being it was not having a great user experience. The reason being the loading time was there each and every time. If a user goes to another tab, he has to wait for certain amount of time until and unless the page gets refreshed. But if you can see over here in the single page applications, there might be home, about, and topic. Like if I just tap on the home tab, it'll directly take me to the content. The browser doesn't refresh. On the about tab, again the same thing. On the topics, again, without even refreshing the page, you are just re-rendering the certain part of the application, which gives you a good user experience. And the reason behind that would be that the loading time really decreases a lot, and it is somewhat, it gives you an impression that you're using a native application or something like that. So if you can just tap on over here, you can see only the URL changes, but your application doesn't refresh. It just refreshes a certain part of your application on the web page. So we are going to go ahead and write an application, and we are going to use React router. So let me just minimize it down. This is the legacy application which we have been writing. So if you can see, I am running my application over here, but somehow I am not rendering anything. So there is a bit of a change in the folder structure over here. So I have created two folders over here, something called as components and route. If you can see earlier, I was only having app.js, and my app.js used to have a header section. So I have just removed it out and detached it and create a new header section. And the app remains, the business logic of our application remains exactly the same. At the same time, I have two new pages that is nothing but the contact us and nothing but the details. So what is going to be in my application JS, whenever my application gets loaded, I would be seeing a header over here at this particular path with some more links to it. Maybe it can be an app link and it can be a contact us link, and that is something which has been churned out to a different uh, standalone component. And you can see over here I'm having GM Tools followed by contact us link and app link. And again, my app link, if I could just go to the app link, all the names of my app has now become a link. That means when I tap on the list, I can go to the detail of that particular part. So for example, GM Tools provide you something called as React and Angular JS. So you can tap on React and get into the detail page of React, wherein we can find out some more information about that particular course. So this is all about it. And contact us is nothing but an href tag of my YouTube channel for React JS. And you can see there's something called as route, and it is having index.js. So you can see my route is getting, I have React over here, and I've imported all my components over here, header, details, contact us. At the same time, I have something called like React router DOM. So React router DOM is nothing but a React v4 which we have talked about here. This is exactly the same um, npm package. You can anytime go and refer to that. And again, this is nothing but rendering. This is a default bootstrapping app which I have. So earlier in my index.js, I was having app.js over here. But now I have removed that app.js and I want my routes to be rendered first. And this is the whole concept all about. So now let's go ahead and write some app over here. So this is nothing but, so all my wraps are going to be wrapped upon browser router. So if I can just go over here and if I can get a basic example. Okay, so let me see. So this is nothing but browser router. You can see the basic browser router. It is nothing but HTML5 API history API, which helps us to push and pop the states of the app and keep the URL in sync. So now again, the first thing which I have written over here is nothing but browser app. So moving here, I'm going to first render my header component. So for that, I'm going to use, you know, I'm going to use a component from React Router DOM called route. And here it has two attributes. The first is nothing but the path. So I want, whenever my path is going to be blank, whenever my page loads, the first thing which I should see is nothing but my header component, because that is something which is going to be global throughout my application. So over here, what component I really want to see, and my component should be nothing but header. So header is it is imported over here. I just save it, and you can see I can have my application GM tools and I'm contact us and nothing called app. So this is absolutely fine. Moving ahead, I also have my rest of the pages. So I'll just copy it 3 times. I'll say whenever my app is going to be something called as, you know, something like that, app. So if you can just, if I go to my header.js, I have two links over here. So my first say, the first thing which I say is nothing but my app link. It is having an href of only slash. My contact has href of only slash contact us. So what I can just do over here is I'm going to just replicate the same thing. Just route to slash for app. For this one, I can just say, I can just go ahead and say, I'll just copy it and I'll paste it over here. Okay, cool. In this particular path, please render contact us. At the same time, in my app.js, there's a link. So on detail of every course, I am going to render nothing but detail. And let me see what really happens over here. Oh. So you can see over here it is saying the router must have only one child element. So this is a plain old vanilla JavaScript React error. So what I'm going to do is over in browser router it should have only one element. So firstly I'll do is I'll wrap it around a div. That would make our life a bit easy, guys. Okay. Yeah. So once I save it, you can see everything is running great as per expectation. So if I just tap on contact us, you can see something weird is happening. This should be removed actually. And if I say an app remains the same. The reason being both of these routes, the header and app, they are sharing the same location. And this is something which is a bit tricky to solve. And how to go ahead with this, nothing but a switch route. So if I just go to nothing but my API and you can see something called as switch. So switch is actually nothing but whenever it'll just switch between any of one route inside this particular component, right? So this is something which I really want to do. So at time I really need only one of the child to be rendered inside header and not two of the childs rendering at the same time. This is not my requirement is. So what I will do is I'll just go ahead and I'll add one more nesting over here, and that is nothing but a switch. Yeah, I'll just put an enter and I'll just see switch. Yep. So once I do that, again, things are really not great. So the first thing which I have to do is I have to remove my header outside of switch, because header should be common for every child. So that's the thing which I'm going to do. I'm going to put my header route outside it. So once I save it, okay, cool. Everything looks really great. But what if, again, I cannot have two of my routes with the same path. So what I'm really going to do is I'm going to give it a name called app. So once I save it, you can see my app components really vanishes, and this is what I really wanted to. But there is something called as redirect, which falls under the nesting of switch components. So if you can see over here in my switch component, there should be something called redirect. Let me just hunt for it. Yes, this is nothing but a redirect component. Then whenever you fall under switch, you redirect me to a certain page. So what I'm really going to do over here is whenever I come inside switch for rendering, I'm going to tell, hey, please redirect me to a path, and that is nothing but my app. That means, so if you can just go over here, yeah, so now everything really looks great. So my application looks fine over here. So now what really happening is, my first thing is nothing but whenever my app loads, it takes me to header. The second thing which happens is, the second thing is nothing but this particular switch which is getting executed, and inside the switch, I'm telling that, okay, I have a number of routers over here, but redirect me to the first one, that is nothing but the app. I can make it redirect to contactors and detail as well, right? And you can see on my app tab, if you can see over here, if I just go and if I just go ahead and inspect this thing, I have href of only slash over here. So this whole process would again, when I tap on the app, this whole process would again reiterate. It'll take me to the browser, and it'll again take me to the switch, and it'll render this app component. And the rest of the thing, it remains quite simple. If I just tap on my contactors, it'll take me to a hyperlink. If I tap on app, it'll take me to my application which we have developed as of now. And once I tap on my any of the course which GM Tools offer, I can really go to a detailed page, which is something which we're going to construct in the further examples. And I hope, again, if at all want to come to app, I can come over here, I can go to contact us. So if you can just see the URLs over here, just have a look at over here. I can go to app, contact us, something like that. I can go to details, so you can see only my URL is changing and not the entire page is getting refreshed. This is the true flavor of SPA application with React Router. Thanks a lot, guys. Please don't panic for the code and the code um, segregation and the folder structure which I'm following. I'll be sharing my link with you guys, and the GitHub link, so you can have the source code with you. Thanks a lot, guys.